Okay, today we're going to go over some of the stuff I picked up at the last gun show in town. Now, if you're like me, you love going to gun shows. I just love going to them. I know the deals aren't always there, and sometimes stuff's even more expensive. But that's the kind of stuff I avoid buying there. I mainly go to gun shows for unusual stuff, perhaps gunsmithing tools, survival gear like I have here, cleaning equipment, and I managed to get some good deals on things. I got great deals on some magazines, some Glock magazines, a couple of AR mags, just run of the mill basic stuff. But you have to shop around. If you go into a gun show with a wad of cash and you start looking to buy the most expensive gun there, you're probably going to pay full price. But anyway, this is totally different. This is just some of the survival related gear that I picked up while I was at the show this week. Went for Saturday. We stayed in Vegas. My wife and I had a great time. We had a blast, but I also went to the gun show and got some really good deals. So we're going to start off over here. This is kind of something small. This is the one of the emergency space blankets. This is one of the original ones. Okay, and this was $2. This is huge. It's made of the same material as the space blanket, but if you notice, it's an OD green, and it's got a shiny interior. It is very thin. I wouldn't use it underneath a tent or as something to lie on. But as far as covering you up, these things work very well. They tend to hold in your heat very well, and it's a very large one. So say, if we're somewhere and we got to keep a bunch of stuff warm as well as ourselves, something like this will come in handy. Okay, next item. I have one of these in my other bag. This is the Sol Emergency Bivy. Essentially, it's a little bit thicker version of this, but it's actually like a sleeping bag. It will also hold the heat in. It's also reflective. It's bright orange. And the difference between the two is sometimes you don't want to be seen, and that's what the blending in kind of OD green would be great in the woods for. Sometimes you do want to be seen if you're in a rescue situation, and this is bright orange. I unfolded this. I'm not going to unfold it on camera because let me tell you, putting it back in was not fun. But it's huge. This is a two-person bivy. Again, in a real bug-out situation, I have all of my gear centrally located. I would grab sleeping bags. I would grab everything. I would toss it in my vehicle and hit the road, or I'd latch it onto my pack and walk. But this is for when I don't have time to do something like that. Or if I'm going on a quick trip, like this weekend when we went into Vegas, I brought a get-home bag with me. So this is going to go in my other bag. These do work very well. I actually undid this one to test it, and I should have gotten video of myself getting into it, but I didn't. It's very simple to get into. It's basically a big plastic sleeping bag. So you got that. And I think this was, I want to say, this is probably the most expensive thing I bought. I think it was $15. Next up, I got a list here. Paracord bracelet. Looks like a normal paracord bracelet, right? Oh, what's that? Jute twine on there. That leads me to believe there's more in here. These are made by a gentleman who, Jim Callahan is his name. And he comes to a lot of the local gun shows. He makes all sorts of paracord creations. Anyway, this one is a survival bracelet. So you got 20 feet of paracord. In here you have 40 feet of fishing line. You have a signal mirror also wrapped up in here. And it's a small one. I saw what he had out on the table. I didn't get a picture of it. And I'm not going to unravel this one because I actually want to keep this one. You got a whistle on the buckle right there. You got fish hooks inside. You got lead sinkers. I believe they're on this side because it's kind of harder over here. You have a fire starter, a magnesium fire stick, and it's kind of bent in there. And you have a striker, which is underneath this part here. And you've got the 12 inches of jute twine. So it's kind of like having a miniature fire starting survival kit right on your bracelet every time you go somewhere. Only thing I noticed about it is you do need to wear it. It will stretch out a little bit. At first, it's rather uncomfortable, That's hard. I'm going to undo it here and show you. That doesn't really bend very well. There's a lot of stuff in there in this part. So you do need to wear it. The paracord will eventually stretch out. I noticed it. I put it on in the show while walking around, and I noticed it right away. It was really tight at first. It was almost annoying at first, but then after a while, hey, that's, not much bigger than my wrist, but it fit and it stayed on comfortably. Next up, yep, that's right. Got myself the Mora heavy duty MG. Anyway, let's take a quick look at it. Been wanting one of these because I've heard so much about them. Now I have a lot of knives at this point, but I've heard so much about these, and I am actually really impressed. For a bushcrafting knife or a backup knife for one of my bug out bags, this is definitely a great deal. I don't think I'm going to put this in the bag. I'm actually going to use this for general tasks around the house. When I'm doing videos, if I have to chop up wood or make feather stick, it's a really nice knife. And this thing comes razor sharp out of the box. I could not believe how sharp. I put this into a piece of cardboard when I bought it, thinking I'm going to have to go home and sharpen it up. And it was just like right through. Wow. So finally got one. I understand the reason why. They're very comfortable. They're very grippy and comfortable. Last thing here, a Boker auto knife. These normally aren't all that expensive. If you look really closely there, you can see, I don't know if you can read that. Got something in the screw there. Boker Kalashnikov. These are auto knives. These just became legal in Nevada. And I already have an out the front knife, but it's of questionable quality. I mean, it's a good knife, but it's a good budget knife, but I wouldn't daily carry it. So something like this I daily carry. I've seen tons of reviews on these. They are one-sided. It looks like it's a dagger, but it's not. It's AUS 8 steel. Got a nice activation mechanism here. The one thing about these knives is you do have to get your nail in there and push. And it's like that, so it won't auto open in your pocket. Got a nice long pocket clip for deep pocket carry. And I've wanted one of these for a while, and it was right in front of me. It was $20. I think it was 22. So actually, this is the most expensive item I bought there. So I bought it. I've been looking for one of these for a long time, and something that's a little better than, say, some Chinese knockoff you buy online. There's absolutely no blade play in here at all, and I wouldn't hesitate to carry this one daily, and I'm going to. And if anything happens, I'll make a video on it. If it breaks or triggers in my pocket or causes me any problems, I'll make a video on it. All in all, I'm really pleased with it so far. I've had it in my pocket for about 3 days now, and I'm happy with it. So they just became legal in Nevada, any kind of auto knife, and there's now a mad rush to buy them. By the way, the Mora is $15. You can't beat that. Last thing. This is kind of an unusual thing to stick in with survival gear. And it's not really survival gear, but it's just a heads up. If you guys see this stuff anywhere, pick it up. It is probably the best bore cleaner I have ever used in my life. A few years ago in California, before I moved here, actually many years ago, I picked up a tub of this, little thing like this. And I had just purchased an SKS. And it was your typical SKS. It had been shot a lot. It was really dirty. The bore was nice and, good quality bore. No problem with that. But it was really dirty, and somebody had bothered to put in a ton of cosmoline in it, too. So I had just bought it. I hadn't cleaned it yet, and I went to the gun show, and I bought this stuff. It not only cleaned the Cosmo out, but it cleaned the bore down to bare steel. I believe it was stainless steel. Cleaned it out really nicely, and this stuff works really, really well. It kind of smells like diesel fuel, but there has to be more stuff in here because it also gets copper out. So if you see it, pick it up. I think this was like $8, and it's older. I mean, this is a December '83 batch, and the stuff I got before was from a long time ago too. So anyway, that's kind of the stuff that I picked up this weekend at the gun show. Kind of the survival-related ends of things. I picked up some ammo, I picked up some magazines, but we all know what that looks like. That's kind of boring to show. So that's what you got from me today. I am going to do a review on the Sol Bivy. I want to actually be able to do it where there's some room on the floor, so I'll have to pull my car out in my workshop here to do it. It does work, and I'll tell you something. It was warm yesterday when I tried it on, and let me tell you, that thing immediately you're 10 degrees hotter when you get in it. So anyway, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, click like on the video if you like it, And I'm going to have some more videos coming up soon. We were really busy last week, so I didn't have a chance to do any videos. But this week we're good to go. So I'm going to try and pop out a few more probably by the end of the week, and I'll talk to you then.